there's another quick thing I want to look into, and that is the YCS Japan results. You guys have told me that those are up, and I am looking at them right now on the Yugioh Pro deck page. This is, I believe, this was, I think, a big deal because it had, like, I don't know how many players it was, but it was the 10th YCS, I think, in Japan. So it was a pretty big deal. Like, as you can see, dude, this is crazy. Look at how big it is. Look at how many people there are. Almost 8,000 people, apparently, is what I'm seeing in chat. 8,000 players and over 40,000 registered for the ticket raffle. Yeah, because the way it works for Japanese YCSs, it's not first come, first serve when they sell the tickets. You have to, like, sign up to get in with, like, a raffle. So it's quite intense. All right. And the thing is, with these, as opposed to regular OCG format and TCG, in order to run tournaments that big, this is best of one. In order to get the tournament done in a reasonable time with 8,000 people, this is best of one. So there's some wacky stuff that happens with when best of one is a thing in Yu-Gi-Oh, right? You know that, right? It's pretty damn wacky. One thing here that I want to point out that I'm immediately seeing first glance, and this is exactly what you would expect in a best of one environment, Tenpai is crazy. Tenpai is absolutely insane in best of one, right? Like, there's just no shot that like, honestly, Tenpai's biggest weakness is the sideboard. And there's no sideboard in best of one. So I to no surprise, to absolutely no surprise, I am noticing that Tenpai Dragon was the most represented deck in the top 64. The other thing that I'm noticing is that there's not many Snake Eyes. There's a single Snake Eye in top 64. A single one. 1 out of 64, which is crazy numbers comparing to like the regular OCG and TCG metagame reports at the moment. But I do think the biggest factor really is that best of one is a thing, right? Like, in best of one and a tournament structure where you almost certainly have to go undefeated, Snake Eye, I don't know if Snake Eye is that reliable, because, you know, I mean, Tenpai Dragon just, like, OT. If you play 8 rounds of Swiss only, which this was, I think it was 8 rounds of Swiss and then top 64. So I think you basically had to go undefeated. If there's so many Tenpais in the room, if you play Snake Eye, I think at some point you just get OTK'd for sure. Oh, it was top 256. Oh, they just have results for top 64. Okay, my bad. My bad. I wasn't aware of the exact tournament structure. But yeah, I think it's unsurprising that Tenpai Dragon takes that many spots. I think it's a little bit surprising that there wasn't more Snake Eyes, because, I mean, I said Snake Eyes is unreliable when it has to play against a lot of Tenpai in best of one. The same is true for, like, Exo Sister or Volcanic or Centur-Ion or Memento or Ritual Beast or Gimmick Puppet or Salamangrate, and all those decks are here. So I don't know. It's interesting. It's very, very interesting. And Voiceless Voice takes down the entire event, which I would not have expected, and it was the only one in top 64 too. Like, that guy just went undefeated. Like, the only Voiceless Voice absolute soldier in the tournament, and goes through and wins the whole thing. Very, very impressive. Wasn't the one that I would have picked. Honestly, if I had to guess what would win this tournament, best of one, I would have said Tenpai Dragon. And I think this is a pretty good outlook on what could happen in Master Duel, right? Because in best of one, Tenpai really is a much bigger force to be reckoned with. We're gonna take a look at Tenpai's situation in the TCG tomorrow on stream. Like, I'm planning to do that tomorrow, where we go ahead and we check some regional results, and we check, like, is Tenpai how is Tenpai performing on the first, like, weekend, because I think it's the biggest thing out of Legacy of Destruction to happen. But obviously that's not best of one, so we'll see. But I think for Master Duel, this is a pretty big tell of what's to happen. Like, I think when Tenpai releases, I think it's going to be a lot of blind second in ranked. And you're going to have to, like, account for that, which is going to be interesting. Let's just take a quick look at some of these decks. So, Voiceless Voice. I don't know if we have... Do we have lists? I can't click this. I thought there were lists. Oh, for some there are. Okay, some of them are clickable, some of them are not. Well, I don't expect the Voiceless Voice to be much like out of the ordinary. The same is probably true for Tenpai. We've seen these a bunch. It's just all the Tenpais and the hand traps. But it is worth pointing out that this card is now out in the OCG. And Maxi is still legal, so they basically have 6 copies. Maybe that's another reason why Tenpai was so successful with basically 6 copies of that. I mean, honestly, I would not call this 6 copies of Maxi. Like, this is not the copies 4, 5, and 6 of Maxi, but it is a good card. So that also probably heavily helps when you go second, right? Okay, we don't have a list for the Melodious. We have a list for the Gimmick Puppet. And this one, for example, as you can see, this is probably a going first deck. I've looked at the Gimmick Puppet combos before. In going first decks, they don't play the hand trap at the moment. At least this deck doesn't. The Molchami Pirellia, they don't play that. They play Maxi. This is FTK. Is this the one card FTK thing? Well, wonderful. Cool. Very cool to see that got all the way up into, what was it? Top 16? Very, very cool. Very cool. Ritual Beast. With Colossus. Hey, Colossus makes an appearance. Very funny. Any Fiendsmith deck? Not in a top 64. You have Memento. Memento with Shaddoll Winda. And 1 Shaddoll Falco. I don't know what the combo for that is. Can they access Shaddoll Falco somehow? Oh, they sprinted. Oh. You sprint for Falco, then Falco sets itself, and then you can make Winda with it. Okay. I see. Interesting technology. We have Snake Eyes was using the Fiendsmith package. Okay. Interesting. Here you go. Fiendsmith in your favorite deck. Snake Eyes. What else is there? Fire King Snake Eye, Volcanic with Fiendsmith, and some unknown lists. Okay. I mean, I don't want to spend too much time on this because, quite frankly, best of 1 is something that is, you know, it's not very indicative of the impact of Infinite Forbidden, but it is worth pointing out that Infinite Forbidden pops up in a decent amount of the decks here, right? Check the Centur-Ion list. The Centur-Ion list. Oh, that's Whitewoods. Okay, that's why you wanted me to check it out. Okay, they play a small... Not a small. That's a big Whitewoods package. Why is that called a Centur-Ion deck, bro? That's not a Centur-Ion deck. That's a Whitewoods deck. That's a whole Whitewoods deck. There's like some Centur-Ion cards only. Like 3 Centur-Ion monsters. Way more Whitewoods. Why is it called Centur-Ion? Anyways. This is another thing that becomes possible, I think, way more now with Centur-Ion Auxilla. Both of the Centur-Ion level 12 synchros are generic, right? Auxilla and Legacia are both generic. If you make Legacia generic, you draw 1 card, which is good in some decks. But in Auxilla, with Auxilla, you have a way now to search your Centur-Ion cards when you don't draw any Centur-Ion cards, if you know what I mean. Like, it makes it possible to splash the Centur-Ion cards in other decks as long as you can go into level 12 synchros. Which is what they are trying to do here. Most notably, this is a Centur-Ion version that is successful without having access to Calamity Lock, right? They still play Crimson Dragon and they go into Cosmic Blazar or Red Supernova, but both of these are way less toxic than Crimson Dragon ever was. Both of these are probably fine. So that's cool to see. I hope that we can get the same in the TCG, honestly. I hope we don't get the Calamity I hope we can get rid of Calamity at some point. But yeah, very cool to see some Whitewoods here. Very, very cool to see some Whitewoods in this tournament. Very nice. Okay, cool. And that's YCS Japan for you. 8,000 players, best of 1. 10 Pi Dragon, most successful deck on the tournament, but Voiceless Voice takes it all down. Interesting. And a lot of interesting stuff, honestly, in the top 64. I'm gonna leave the link in the chat right now if you guys want to take a look at something in particular. I would look at the Melodious list, but it's not up on the website, so I can't click it. It only says what deck they were running. Same for Salamangreat. Check the Volcanic and the Chimera deck. I mean, okay, guys, I don't want to click every single one, but sure. Okay, this one is Volcanic. Oh no, this is Fire King. Volcanic with the Fiendsmith 6. Yeah, okay. I mean, sure. This one does play Snake Eyes Diabellstar. Why though? While this card is a continuous spell, target a fire in your grave, place it, and special summon this card. I mean, okay. If you place this with Poplar, you get a free extender, basically. It basically makes Poplar even better if you play this card, right? It's an FTK? Yeah, it plays the... Yeah, I mean, but that's not new, right? That's not like crazy Troll Despair, but because we've seen that already. This is like being played in the TCG at the moment, to only some degree, but like, you know. It makes the field spell an extender? Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you can just Divine Temple for this if you have a monster in the graveyard, and then this summons itself out. Yeah, okay. I can see it. I can see it. And then we have Chimera. There's no list for that. Okay. Anyways, move on. It can FTK with Snow even better, and the Fiendsmith fusion burns as well. Yeah, I mean, I'd be surprised, honestly, if they don't do anything about that. Because to me, it feels like they have been doing, they've been doing a lot to prevent this sort of stuff. Also, look at the playmat that they announced. I don't know if this one was from the YCS, but I've seen this. This is nuts. And the sleeves as well. I don't know if they gave them out at the YCS or if they just announced them at the YCS, but these are crazy. It's probably going to be impossible to get for us unless they ever release it for the TCG, but I doubt it. And it's probably going to be super expensive. Top 64, yeah, there's no shot. If this is the top 64 prize mat, you probably, this is infinite. Probably can't get your hands on it. Also, it's not for sale, guys. It's not for sale, so impossible.